brother Doug.
Hello.
And we were going to talk a little bit about some of the things he's doing right now. So about, a year ago or so, I picked you up in South Lake Tahoe because you were coming off trail.
Right, yep.
And on Sunday, we're going to take him back up the trail. So why walk the Pacific Crest Trail?
That's a great question. I'm not 100% sure why. I mean, I think it just feels nice to, we grew up in a really rural area, and I live in an urban area, and so it feels nice just to get out and be in nature and no phone calls and no other people. Just like, it just feels nice to be kind of out there,
Well, the trail is pretty much out there.
Yeah, it is. It certainly is. Yeah, a lot of it's very out there, yeah.
Not everybody watching may know what the Pacific Crest Trail is. Maybe you could describe it for us.
Yeah, so it's the Pacific Crest Trail, the PCT, is 2,650 miles of trail that goes from the Mexican border to the Canadian border.
Well, and it really kind of runs the backbone of California, right?
Right, kind of right through the Sierras and basically right along the ridge that is the, that kind of the center of the state, basically, yeah.
You got to see some pretty good views from up there.
Yeah, I mean, when the highest point that I've gone through was the highest point on the trail is Forester Pass, and it's at like 13,000 feet. And from that view, from there it goes to you can see to the valley floor below, which is almost 13,000 feet below you. So, I mean, it's pretty amazing views.
Now, what parts of the trail have you walked thus far?
So I've, with McKay, my girlfriend McKay, we did basically from the Mexican border, the southern terminus, they call it, of the PCT, to Lake Tahoe. Well, she did some of that. I've done that part, with the exception of about 50 miles through the Mojave Desert that I've not done yet because I've just never been able to go early enough in the season where it wasn't deadly to go through there because there's no water and it's really very, very hot, obviously.
Yeah, because you're going to have to carry all your water with you.
Yeah, and you have to do it in the winter time or, early spring or fall or something. And because of teaching, I was always only available to do it during the summer, and I'm not.
So how many, it's 2,650 miles. How much of it have you walked so far?
Just a little over 1,000.
So 1,000
So
miles.
still a lot to do. So
Yeah.
I have, all of Oregon and Washington to do, and I'm only about 2/3 of the way, I guess, through California. So, yeah, there's a lot to do.
So this is a pretty physical undertaking because you're up and down. This is a pretty mountainous trail, right?
Yeah, I mean, especially, the Sierras, this section here, basically the Donner Pass, which is a little bit, I'll be doing this time, down to, just north of the Mojave, that section the elevation gain is pretty, quite a bit. So there's definitely a lot of up and down, and you're carrying a pack, of course, and some of the areas are very dry, so you have to carry a lot of water with you, which water is very heavy. I like the physicality of it, actually. That's something that I
was going to say, I mean, you don't just get up off your couch one day and decide to go walk the PCT, right?
Yeah, no, it was interesting. So McKay and I, the whole thing, kind of the way it started was that we were thinking about doing the Camino de Santiago in Spain, was how this kind of started.
I have a guy I know that did it.
Yeah, and so we started researching that, and we actually started walking we need to walk more. So we started walking, and we enjoyed it. And then I'm not sure how it became the PCT, but we had heard some kind of sad news about the Camino, that it was kind of touristy, and and so then we got kind of turned off by that a little bit.
Yeah.
But we had already done the walking, and I think McKay had mentioned it maybe, or maybe we saw something about it on TV, and we were just like, oh, that's not, and it's, we live in San Diego, and the southern terminus is, I mean, just a short drive from us.
Right.
So we decided to go out and do the first little section. There's a 20-mile section from the border to this little town, and
so you did that like in a weekend, right?
yeah, actually we did it in a day. We just went out early in the morning and did it, and that was it. In fact, we were so stupid actually, because we brought 2 cars. That way we could leave 1 car at the southern terminus. Well, we drove to where we were going to finish, dropped off a car there, then drove to the southern terminus, dropped the car there, and then started hiking. Well, we got about just almost exactly halfway and realized that we left the keys to the car that we were hiking to in the other car. So we're like, well, we've already walked halfway anyways. Yeah. So we had to walk to the rest of the way. And then I started walking on the road to go back, trying to hitch. And McKay ended up hitching a ride, and she came and picked me up, and a really nice guy drove us down to our car, and it was so dumb. We literally halfway, I stopped right in the trail like this, and I was like, oh my God. She's like, what? I go, we left the keys for your car in my truck. And we actually even talked about it. We were like, okay, here's your keys. We'll put them in here so we don't lose them, or just not.
Yeah.
You know. So dumb.
So when you walked last year, that was the biggest stretch that you did, right?
Yeah. So it's been actually a couple years now. So was it 2 years ago? Yeah, it's 2 years ago. And so I did just about 700 miles.
In that.
Was
that 2 weeks you did that?
More than that. It was more like 4 weeks.
What were you averaging per day?
Just less than 20, probably, 18 sometime. I think our longest stretch, maybe we did like 23 or something like that.
Yeah. It's a pretty good day, and then I have to get up and do it again the next day.
Yeah. It's actually, walking 20 miles is no big deal. It's just walking 20 miles every day it becomes
every day up and down on a rocky trail with a pack. And so how much does a pack weigh?
Fully loaded with water and food, you're looking at 35, maybe even 40. There was times when McKay and I were together, I was carrying extra water for both myself and her, and so my pack had to be 45 pounds. I mean, it was brutal. And during some of those sections, it's so hot, and so we actually tried to hike early in the morning, and then we would find a shady spot and just nap during the hottest part of the day.
Sounds like you're walking in China.
Yeah, which is exactly the same thing. Although in China, we walked crazy early, like 2 o'clock in the morning we'd get up.
So the physicality I don't think can be underestimated on how tough this kind of thing is. So how have you gotten in shape, and what are you doing with your physical fitness now?
Yeah, so it kind of started with the walking. I was, definitely had put on some weight, and
I remember I have pictures.
Yeah. I mean, I'm down 40 pounds. I mean, I was 40 pounds heavier at one point. And so I was just feeling kind of sluggish and, blah. And so I started doing the walks, and then the walks turned into a gym membership, and then the gym membership led to a CrossFit kind of a thing. So I did CrossFit for a long time, and so the CrossFit really kind of inspired me to lose more weight and get physical. And then at some point I started feeling like, well, what's the end game? Why am I doing is it just to look better and just feel better? Those are perfectly good reasons. But I felt like, we both ran track and did competitive like athletic stuff, and so I thought, oh, it'd be kind of fun to go back. And so I think the first thing I did was like it was like a cross country race. It was like a 4-mile cross country race, which was really fun. And because I ran cross country in high school, and I thought that was really fun. I enjoyed that. And then for some reason I think I probably saw like Iron Man on TV or something. I thought, oh, a triathlon would be really cool. And so I just started training for that. And they have in San Diego this like beginners triathlon. They call it the Spring Sprint. And went out there and swam and bike and ran. And so I did that Spring Sprint, which is it's a short 500-yard swim, I think, and 12-mile bike and a 5K, so a 3-mile run. And I really enjoyed it. And of course, that led to I was using my little hybrid bike, the one I used to commute to work on, bicycle. And so I ended up buying a nicer bike, and because you could spend a lot of money and try if you want to.
Yeah.
So then I started really getting serious about it, doing meal prep and really focusing on my diet, what I was eating, what my protein levels were. I got some testing done to see like what my optimum workout zones were, and just got real serious about.
Well, you were telling me that you prep your meals for an entire week.
Yeah, so on Sunday I prep lunch and dinner for the entire week, Monday through Friday. And then, so I have them all ready to go, so I have no thinking about it. And I have a very consistent calorie intake, and I know exactly got a little scale, and I measure everything out, so I know exactly what my proteins, how much protein I'm taking in, and everything.
Well, you look great, and at the ripe old age of 51, you're in pretty darn good shape. So more power to you. That's really great. And on Sunday, we're going to be driving Doug back up to South Lake Tahoe, and we're going to put him back on the trail. He's going to walk for, about a week?
Yeah,
and
7 days, I think,
Yeah, then I'm going to meet him at the other end. So we'll definitely get some footage of that. And but thanks for sitting down with me today and capturing some of this. I think people will find it interesting.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks.
You got it. Well, good morning. Hey, so you ready to go up the hill?
Yep, ready to do it.
All right, you all packed up?
Packed up, ready to go. Got water, got food, got
Extra pair of socks?
extra pair of socks, extra pair of skivvies,
All right, a flashlight?
flashlight. Yep, got
All right,
that.
anti-bear weapon?
I have a little teeny knife.
I don't think that's going to do it.
A knife's just piss him off.
Yeah. All right, well, we're going to mount up now and roll on up the hill. We'll see you up there.
Adios. Over heaven.
Hello.
Hey there, Father.
How you doing there, Douglas?
I'm doing well, and how are you?
Well, not bad for an old feller.
Right on. Happy Father's Day.
Yeah,
Happy Father's Day, big fella.
thank you.
We're driving down the road, headed up the hill to drop him off.
Oh, for his long walk.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for his
okay.
walk up the road. They're up the hill here.
All right. Well, good luck, buddy, and you know, like I say, watch where you're stepping.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right, we're here at Echo Lake, which is the place where Doug is going to pick up the PCT.
Back at it.
You ready to go, big boy?
Ready to do it, brother.
What's the temperature?
47 or 48?
Yeah, it's cold,
Chilly.
man.
It'll be nice hiking though. That's nice hiking weather. I'm happy. I'd rather that than 88, 84. Beautiful day. A little bit of weather's rolling in, maybe.
Well, after several days of having my baby brother around, I actually felt a kind of touch of melancholy as he left on the trail. And so he's off, and we'll be picking him up in a week's time. And I envy him because it's absolutely drop dead gorgeous up here, as you can see behind me. Wow, it's beautiful. So have a safe trip, Dougie. We'll see you at the other end. Ahoy! How are you? Wonderful. Awesome. Cool, man. Good to see you.
Good to see you
Good
too.
to see you. I don't know how that looked, but we'll see anyway. Well, shall we hit the road?
Let's do it, man.
All right, let's get out of the mountain.
Back to the real world.
That's right.
Unfortunately.
Civilization.
Yeah.
It is beautiful up here, though, I have to
Yes,
say.
man, it was a really pretty hike. Like tons of mountain lakes and
Well, I can't wait to
sweeping
hear.
vistas and
Yep, I can't wait to hear all about it.
right
It'll
on.
be great. All right, signing out.
Adios. On our way back down the hill.
Well, baby brother, how does it feel to be back in civilization?
Well, it's always a little bittersweet. I do miss the trail, but it feels good to have a nice warm bed and hot coffee and
All the niceties.
trappings of
civilization.
Yeah, exactly. So it's good.
So you were out there, what, 7 days, right?
Yep, 7 days. Did about just over 100 miles of trail. And yeah, beautiful. And there's a really pretty section. You know, the Sierra. It's really the end of the what they consider the High Sierra. It's the end of it, and so I mean, it's really pretty, really nice section. Not too tough, so it was kind of nice.
What were you averaging? You think you said 17?
Yeah,
16,
17 miles a day I averaged, and so that I felt pretty good with that. I mean, I would have liked to have done more. I mean, my goal was really to get further down the trail, but after the first couple of days, I was like remembering the number of miles I was doing after being on the trail for a month, and so I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to do that many, but it takes a while to get the engine back again. So, I mean, my first day I did 16. By my last big day I did 23. So I mean, I think I could have gotten up to 25, 26, 27 a day, but it takes a while to get get the muscles used to doing that again.
So after your first day, I think you texted me. You were a little tired.
Yeah.
But it improves day to day as you go.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like once you gotta your body gets used to you get your hiker legs back, and you get used to being at elevation, because it wasn't super high, but I mean, I think I started out, the highest point I hit, I think, might have been like just above 9,000. Didn't hit 10. So, it wasn't like super high, but it was still, there's still some pretty good, hike sections where you're like going up and back these switchbacks that, could be pretty steep,
Well, Doug and I walked about 2.5 miles this morning, and I was huffing and puffing trying to keep up with him, and he's just loping along, So, but what out of the ordinary happened up there?
Well, I saw a lot of hikers. That was especially the first day and the last day. A lot of hikers, a lot of day hikers, near the trailheads, and then a couple of things. I mean, the one thing is I lost my bandana, which I've had forever. Which I was kind of bummed that one day I reached for my bandana. I was like, oh no, my bandana's gone. And so I actually turned around and hiked back probably 2 miles, thinking maybe I dropped it more recently, because I'm always messing with it. I couldn't find it, and I was like, the next section to look for it would have been like really up, and I just come down and I was like, oh, I don't want to go back. So I was like, and I hate leaving stuff on the trail, you know what I mean? Like that's how Dad was about picking trash up.
Absolutely.
Like
Leave it cleaner than you found it, boy.
Yeah, so I felt really bad, but I was like, I can't go back anymore. So I turned around and like, oh man, I don't have my bandana. And you need a bandana too to like wash up on a stream or whatever, Sure enough, the next day I'm hiking and there's a bandana laying on the side.
You're kidding?
Nope.
Oh my God.
I'm at a little crossing. There's a little like creek, little seasonal stream, and there's a bandana laying on a rock. Somebody obviously had rinsed it out and laid it on a rock to dry off, and then forgot it and walked off. And so there's a bandana sitting right
The trail giveth and the trail taketh. Right?
Yeah. So I was like, all right, cool. So I cleaned it up as best I could. I'm like, all right, I'm perfect. New bandana.
That's excellent.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
So you were telling me a little bit about your close encounter near a trailhead.
Yeah, so at Barker Pass, which is it's an unpaved access road that I think the Park Service uses, and probably it's like a fire road or whatever. But they actually have a building there that's like a pit toilet and a parking area that people can park and hike. There's a couple different trails that cross at that point. And they also have a dumpster there, which is probably why this happened. I was coming out of Barker Pass, and you go up this relatively steep, long section, and there's bushes, these big, tall, probably 6 or 7 foot high bushes along the side of the trail. And I'm just hiking along, and all of a sudden I hear, and bushes just shaking and something boogieing off into the, and so I'm about 90% sure it was a bear, unless, I don't know, I don't think it could have, it was the size of a deer, but I never heard a deer make that kind of noise before, so. Yeah, so I must have surprised him. He certainly surprised me.
Yeah.
I was like, jumped about 3 feet in the air and did a 180. It was like, what was that? Waiting for something to come out of the bushes at me. But yeah, so it was, it definitely quickened my pace after that. I was up into that because there's bears. I mean, there's bears absolutely from the whole Sierra, there's bears. And so, I mean, there's the reality that they're there. But you never see them, which I guess is good, but and bad. Is if you could see them like really far away, that'd be all right. But so yeah, so definitely after that, every couple hundred yards, I'd be like, "Hey Yogi, hey Yogi." I just do that to like in case they hear me, they can have time
scatter,
to boogie off. Yeah.
What about other wildlife?
Unfortunately, not too much. I mean, I saw a lot of evidence of like coyotes. I mean, there's lots of scat on the trail. I don't know if they're pooing everywhere and you just can't see it, but it seems like they like to poo on the trail for some reason. I don't know. So lots of scat on the trail. A lot of deer hoof prints, but as far as mammals, really, the only thing lots of marmot, which is like a big groundhog-looking thing. And in the day hike areas, they're very bold because they see so many people. I mean, they sit right on the trail like, "What are you looking at, buddy?" And they just kind of barely get out of the way, and they chirp at you and, get mad. And then, of course, tons of birds and, squirrels and stuff like that, but no big, nothing big other than the marmots. That they're, some of them get pretty chunky, but that's it.
So you're over like 1,100 miles now, right?
Yep, just over. Yeah, I think it's 1140 something. Yeah, something like that.
So what's the future of the assault on the Pacific Crest Trail?
Well, I would definitely love to do a big. So I'm just over the halfway point now.
Yeah.
I actually hit halfway during this section. So I would really love to be able to do the whole thing, to finish the rest of it. And
now, how long would that take?
A solid, probably at least 2 months, if not, and probably a week or so,
So you've got another project working right now, so it's probably not going to be next year, right?
Yeah, it's definitely not going to be next year, but it would be nice to come back maybe in, summer of 20 or something like that, and because I'm out of the Sierra, I don't have to worry about the snow so much, so I could actually come a little bit earlier, because you can't get through the Sierra much before June, anyways, because of the.
Well, you did hit some pretty good snow up there.
Yeah, there was a lot of snow on the ground. There was some snow fields that I had to pass that were probably 200-300 yards long of me going through the snow, and then I had to go through one pass, Dick's Pass, which is coming down the other side. I approached it from the southern side, so that gets a lot of sun exposure. So there's no snow on that side, but on the northern side, it was the whole side of the hill was.
So you had to
snowed in.
walk across a snowpack on a pretty
Yeah.
good slope. Right?
Yeah, it was pretty stepped in. A lot of people had already passed, so there was like kind of footsteps already, and so it wasn't really that scary. But if you missed and you fell or got caught in your foot or something like that, or post hold where your foot goes in and you started falling, it was a long slide. I'd have been gaining some serious
Momentum.
RPM or some MPHs, and if I'd hit a tree or something, it would have been good. But so yeah, there was quite a bit of snow. It was surprisingly so. I mean, it's been obviously pretty warm, and it wasn't necessarily a big snow season, but I think they did have a late snow.
Yes, we had a couple of late
Yeah.
storms.
Yeah.
It kept the ski areas open a little bit later, not like the prior year,
Right.
But
Yeah.
So now the next great adventure is you and McKay are off to Hawaii.
Yep. So the house is on the market, and we'll be, it's still a little
The house in La Jolla.
The house in La Jolla, yep.
Yeah.
And my condo are both on the market, and then hopefully we'll break ground, in maybe September, October. It's Hawaii, so everything's kind of Hawaii time.
Yeah.
Depending on the builder and the county office, the permitting office and all that kind of stuff.
So you're designing this to be kind of a traditional Hawaiian style
Yeah,
home.
so it's I guess it's a ranch, kind of a ranch style house, single story, but it's definitely, that Indonesian island style, home.
Should be pretty.
Yeah, big, huge wraparound
Lanai.
lanai, and so it's it's going to be a. Really
And I hear
nice-
you're building a bedroom for me.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's got a guest bedroom and an office that could be and so hopefully we'll break ground on that, and that'll keep both of us very busy. I'm sure, because I'm going to be already talking with the builder. He's happy to have me do a lot of the finish work, painting and molding, and not floors probably, but just easy stuff, non-kitchen cabinetry, like cabinets in the garage and cabinets in the pantry and things like that.
Yeah.
The super high-end stuff that's in the kitchen, I probably won't mess with too much, but all the other kind of easier stuff.
Well, if you need some help, call your big brother.
There
He'll
you
come
go.
over for a week and help you put in the
Yeah.
cabinets or
Perfect.
something.
Perfect.
Well, great. It's I know for me, I drove up yesterday. There was some absolutely gorgeous road along the Yuba River, and it was twisty. So it was 50 miles of twisty, but it was a beautiful drive. I really enjoyed it, and we came back through Truckee, and it was a good adventure, and I was glad that I got to be a little bit involved. And
No, I really appreciate it.
yeah, it was I'm like I said, I'll be totally supportive of your next effort. You let me know what I can do, and I'm there for you. So
Right on.
all right, man.
Appreciate it.